invite everyone to like and share this out. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. And we will dive into topic number one of the day, which is um college football was a mass success on launch. So much so. Why is it's like this? I don't know. I'll have to fix that later. But so much so that I think they said 2.2 million people purchased either the $100 edition, the MVP edition, or got a EA Access subscription to play it before it actually launched. Um, so, but not only that, it appears that uh, College Football 25 was a massive system seller this week. Um, so much so that the Xbox Series S in particular had its highest sales since the system launch. Um, so in the US at least, because I don't think college football has much appeal outside of the US. Maybe a little bit in Canada and Mexico, maybe. But I wouldn't expect it to have much of a reach outside of that. Um, but with that said, um, before we go into the sales dynamic and kind of leaving past gen behind and kind of getting more current gen only games, I'm gonna throw it over to Jube since he's one of the people who partook this week in the college football craze. What was your impressions of the game so far, and what modes have you played?
I've only played Road to CFC
Oh, you played
so
the
far,
college football playoff mode on online head to head.
which is yeah, that's all it is. It's
Yeah,
online head to head.
yeah.
Yeah, really great. That's the only head to head mode that's not local, outside of Mutt or outside of their Ultimate Team. What would you call it? Like, cause
It's Ultimate
CF
Team.
Mutt
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
CFUT? I don't know.
They just
Whatever the
call
fuck.
it. I think they still call it Mutt.
It shouldn't because it's not Madden. I don't
I
want
know,
Madden.
I know, but
Mad
I
like
think they still call it
all I
that.
know is Madden 25 better be out here slapping
It's the same game,
because
except Madden is going to be a little bit slower as far as the pacing because they aim to be a little
yeah,
bit more
that
realistic.
deep ball can be deadly in this game for sure.
Okay,
Um, I love it. I mean, I haven't touched NCAA since 14.
so 11 years.
Um, yep.
That's ridiculous. Like, why?
I stole
Can I
that from
ask
my
why
job
was
when I worked at fucking GameStop. Like, no cap.
why was it missing at for so long?
Because
Because
there was some litigation that took place, and um, it just like the name, image, likeness issue has been going on since those 11 years ago. So basically, once name, image, likeness became like a thing, and it was being like litigated, the NCAA stopped their ability to make sports games because they didn't want to have to like back pay athletes.
yep. Once college kids started getting paid with like mill deals and stuff.
Well, they didn't start getting paid
Um,
yet, but once it started looking like a possibility, NCAA shut it all down. It was like, we can't do this
yeah.
because we don't want to have to retroactively pay all these kids.
Yep.
Paid them in the first place, it wouldn't have been a problem. But anyway, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So Jube, just since you've played it, can I ask, like, I don't play Madden, but I can play football games. I get them.
Yeah.
Is the story mode anyway similar or is interesting as MLB The Show?
I haven't touched the story mode, so I can't
I
speak on
have.
it.
Okay.
I've
I have
literally
touched
been
it.
cutting my teeth against real people. So
Yeah, because I would never play real people, but I really like the story mode in MLB The Show. So I would get it just off the strength of that if it had a solid sort of college career mode. Like
They
I've been
do have
seeing a
that.
lot of like Instagram and TikTok things about, you know, you have an in-game girlfriend and like they be hitting your phone up to go to parties. it's like reached a larger sphere because of stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting and fun. Real RPG, if you will.
So, I've exclusively played Road to Glory, which is the story mode that you're referencing, and it's not very in depth. Like all of your interactions take place through your cell phone. So, like, you'll get a text message asking, "Do you want to go to a party?" And then you can say yes or no, and then like maybe like a couple weeks later, you'll get I noticed that your coach knew that you went to the party, and you'll lose like the coach's trust because of that. You'll get like something from like your advisor or your coaches or your coordinator or your teammates, but it's like maybe you'll get one of those interactions like once every couple weeks. So it's not a very in-depth story mode. Um, just enough to kind of, you know, get you from week to week, I guess.
Get you from the next game to the next game.
Yeah. So, and I've exclusively played Road to Glory. I do have my issues with Road to Glory. I created a quarterback. And so when you start off as the quarterback, which is understandable as a freshman, you run the exact play that the coach gives you. Like there's no leeway,
No audibles, nothing.
Yeah, no leeway, no nothing. And then as you build up coach trust, you get a little bit more freedom. You can change. I've maxed out coach trust. So once you max out coach trust, you can change the play up to 30 times in the game, which is pretty much half the plays. Because like an average football game is like 65 to 75 plays. So, but the issue that I have is that even when you earn the coach trust and you can choose plays, you just hit the button to choose plays, and you only get 3 plays to choose. So you get the original play that they gave you. If you don't like that, you have 2 other plays you can pick from. And then once you get to the line of scrimmage, even with the coach trust maxed out, you are not allowed to audible or check out of a bad play. So like if you go to the line of scrimmage and the defense is in the perfect defense to stop what you're about to do, you can't do anything to change it. If it's a pass play, you can kind of, you can change the routes, you can change the protection. If it's play action, some of the play actions you're not allowed to change the protection. The protection is set, so you just got to run the play and like get rid of the ball as fast as you can. And I don't really care for that because I feel like if you have all of the coach's trust, you should have a little bit more freedom. The only time that you can get over the fact that you can't audible is when you know huddle. When you know huddle, you can go through all the formations and pick the 4 plays for the 4 audibles for each formation. But you can't go to the line of scrimmage, see that you're in a bad play, and get out of it. And then like the first year you just run the ball like crazy. I'm in year 2 and I get a lot more leeway, but even so, like my coach is dumb as shit. Like we'll be at the line of scrimmage on 3rd and inches, and he'll give me 3 pass plays. And I'm like, motherfucker, if we don't run the ball and give me a new set of downs, but no. So I there are some things I loathe about Road to Glory. But the gameplay is solid. It's fun. But me and my coach, we don't get along in Road to Glory. I'll say that much.
Can
But
I ask a couple questions
fire
in
away.
regards to like, so particularly for you and Jubei, people who play this, is there a distinct difference in communities between people who probably exclusively play like Road to Glory and carry that player over into Madden, versus people who exclusively play like online or are only here to play against other people?
I don't think Road to Glory is that big of a community to where like that's like all they exclusively play. There is
What about in Madden?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
Okay,
doesn't
just in
really
general.
exist.
Okay.
There's a big
playing in,
franchise
leagues with other
community.
people?
There's a big franchise
Yeah.
and dynasty community.
Hmm.
Where there are groups of people who don't touch any other mode but dynasty or franchise. And now that you got the 32-man leagues, like people will do that for the entire year. They won't go online head to head. They won't do MUT. They won't do anything except those leagues. Like I know Jube's in a league. So and I think at least for NFL, for franchise mode, you can do 25 years, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it goes 25 years. So you can do 25 years of franchise mode. So that'll pretty much carry you through like a whole year of playing the game. Like if you're like in like a competitive league, and
And the reason I was asking is like, it seems to me like if there's no audience for it, there isn't. But like, what would make me very, very interested in these games, is if to your point, Pharaoh, where like you have earned the coach's trust and you still can't run the plays you want. I would love the idea that like you can break off from whatever the coach wants you to do. There just may be either consequences or benefits for your actions, including to the point. I know this is nobody's cup of tea, so maybe this is more of a modded community thing. But in the Pokemon community, there's the idea of the Nuzlocks, which is effectively
I love
if
Nuzlocke.
if you're battling and your Pokemon faints, you have to get rid of them. Can't use them anymore. So this idea to me of this like hard mode football game where there are far more AI interactions about like you can go to this party or random players might not like you because maybe you're the new superstar and you're replacing them, or you don't listen to the coach and the coach is a hard ass, so he's like you're cut from the team. And now you're on free agency, and if you don't get signed, and you're out of the league. I know that's not crazy fun because it effectively ends the game right there. But it seems to me that really should be the next space where a majority of these sports games are going, where your interactions with that side of the game feel more dynamic and more enhanced and more interesting. And I'm asking you guys, is like, is that even a selling point for anybody, or is that like no one cares? We're just sort of hopping online and doing this.
I think people would love stuff like that, but the issue is what you're speaking to is more for Madden than college football. But
True, yeah.
But the issue that you run into there is that the NFL is very particular about their product, and they don't
you can't make players be bad guys.
Yeah, they don't want anything to be shown in a negative light. So a lot of great features that were in Madden got taken out by the NFL. And like then the fans like are requesting it back, and like we've slowly gotten some things back. Like they got rid of like Team Creator, for instance, because they didn't want like people playing in NFL stadiums with non-authentic jerseys, and they took out dynamic crowds. So basically every stadium has to be full in a Madden video game. Whereas in college football, they don't have that restriction. So you'll play in like some stadiums with some sucky teams, and the stadium would be half full. They took out things like helmets popping off from time to time because of player safety. They don't want to show that people get hit so hard the helmets get knocked off. They got rid of Blitz and NFL Street because they didn't want to like portray their product a certain way. So the NFL gets in the way of these games being like as good as they could possibly be, and it's unfortunate.
That makes sense. That is really unfortunate, man. I imagine being able to sort of simulate the professional football experience with all of its ups and downs would be very interesting. Sometimes you wind up like Aaron Hernandez. Sometimes you wind up like Tom Brady, like, and everything that's in between with all of that.
Create a team
just seems like an interesting thing to do.
Yeah. Create a team is back in Madden this year. Because it's back in NCAA. So basically, the benefit of having NCAA now or college football is that now that you have like two development teams, they swap features. They're the exact same game with just different sliders, basically. NFL plays a little bit slower because they aim to be a little bit more realistic. Only real difference is that college football is going to have a little bit more trick plays. There's going to be wider disparities in ratings between players. So I saw somebody post something like the quarterback for like East Carolina, the backup quarterback, he had a 13 overall rating. Like that will never happen in Madden. You won't have those like disparity in ratings. Like even like the worst quarterback will be like at least like a 69 overall. He'll be close to a 70. So I mean, those are kind of like the biggest things. But the main reason I brought this topic up because I know everyone doesn't relate to college football, but this is one of the first, I guess, quote unquote pillar games now that it's back for the casual gaming community that is current gen only. And as a result, we've seen a lot of people start to shift over to current gen hardware recently. And I just kind of want to get you guys' takes on it. You know, like as a like people like even like in the PC community, some of those people are starting to get consoles because college football is not coming to PC because they don't want y'all modding it and putting players in that opted out and stuff like that.
Hey, screw you, man.
Hey, screw them. Because I would have got it on PC. But yeah, so it's forcing a lot of people to upgrade or not, in some cases, just change their hardware over so that they can have access to a title like this. And I think this is the first big game that has caused that. That was like annualized or just a big game. And I think the next one will be Grand Theft Auto 6 because Call of Duty isn't doing it. So how are you guys feeling about more people just switching over to next gen hardware and it potentially leading to more games kind of just saying we're gonna be current gen only.
I mean, exclusive sales,
So
and next gen is proof of that.
so
Hmm.
yeah. So I'm gonna go with Nappy. Nappy, what do you think about the success of college football 2025 and its ability to move people to quote unquote current gen hardware?
I'm not really surprised. I was kind of curious to see when they would like stop supporting the last gen with some of the I consider these games more so of the casual audience. So the fact of the matter is this is like one of the first games that we got that the casual audience have to get newer hardware. Doesn't shock me. I knew it was going to happen. What shocked me more was that they went with the Series S, which a lot of people were saying, oh, the Series S is holding the game industry back and all this other stuff. And I'm like, but with the way how the world economy is, or at least the United States economy and stuff, yeah, it seems like that Series S might be a little appealing for the entry level to the new modern consoles.
Well,
I guess everyone don't care about 4K nobody cares about 4K that much. I mean, they're okay with the 1440p.
I would say most casual gamers will only care about the lowest point of entry. That's why the Switch does so well.
Yeah, I mean that is true.
But
so it's just I'm just like, because I want to see what was going to happen with the next Call of Duty when it comes out in October to see like
that's not
when they're going to go
only.
over to. Oh, it's not. Oh well, fuck it.
It's not current gen only. I think I heard someone say that the next Call of Duty will be current gen only, but I think this is Black Ops 3 is going to be the last. It might be the last previous gen, current gen Call of Duty. Oh.
Yeah. So, but overall, like I have to say, like this is it's definitely a shock to see that the Series S went up in sales. Guess people getting that new hardware, and it looks like the easiest entry to the next generation is the Series S. So I'm curious to see if the Series S will go up even further beyond just because of not just because of football, but because of other titles that are eventually about to come out to Xbox soon. So it's I'm just gonna sit back and watch. I'm really excited. I'm kind of happy for Microsoft. The Series S is selling. I honestly don't think that the console holds the generation back as like people say it does. I mean, I just think people just don't feel like optimizing their games for a Series S. Same thing with the Unreal Engine 5. I don't think it's a terrible engine. I think people just go with the default lighting settings that or whatever they called it that Unreal Engine 5 calls it for their games to look all nice and crisp, but not realizing how taxing it is on hardware and not optimizing again. So yeah, I'm just curious. I'm just gonna sit back and watch on this one.
All right. Kofi, what are your thoughts on just a big casual game, just forcing a larger segment of the gaming audience to just move over to current generation hardware, I should say. No more next gen talk.
From the hardcore gamer's perspective, like somebody like me, I like the idea of potential new console owners entering this generation. And what I mean by new console owners is kind of like what PS5 was, or what PlayStation was tracking, with a lot of PlayStation 5 owners being like the first time, at least in an online tracked system. So since maybe PS3, so that is definitely encouraging, because I feel like they're going to try to appreciate other games, possibly in EA's catalog or within a subscription like Game Pass, or if they're buying, the PS5, the digital edition, they could enjoy some new IPs they've never heard of, or try a different sports game, and that turns into them becoming potentially hardcore gamers. And I love that. I think it's interesting that a lot of the big publishers are a little slower to do a current gen only. I can understand when small devs do it. Like, for example, Falcom. Falcom has a game coming out in September, and they're still doing a PS4 version.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I was
you
gonna
know,
follow up with
brand
that
new
with
code.
you.
Yeah, Falcom. I have no issue with small publishers saying like, "Hey, like we need to take advantage of everybody who ever bought a PlayStation, everybody who bought an Xbox." Like the Atlas games. But big publishers, I kind of want them to do a little bit of the showmanship. It doesn't have to necessarily be pretty graphics, but it would be nice if it was some sort of gameplay or performance improvement that we were not capable of doing in the prior gen. So obviously I don't love football games. There are some sports games I do like. So I won't say like I hate sports games overall, but it's just I think Madden overall, that one isn't necessarily for me. But it's good to see like a community get galvanized by the returning of a long lost game. Over a decade without a game that was annualized feels like forever.
Yeah, for sure. So
So
as a person who plays a variety of different games, and a person that plays a lot of import games in particular, do you feel that other gamers being reluctant to switch over to next generation hardware, and as a result, these developers making games cross generation, have you feel like it's limited some of the experiences of some of the games that you played? Like, are there particular titles that you wish were next gen only that you played recently?
That's a really tough one. Some of the games I played, technically were held back because they released on PS4. Back in 2021, just to give an example, Falcom released what just came out in America, Trails Through Daybreak, right?
Mhm.
Great game. I love it. On PlayStation 4 Slim and the PlayStation 4 Standard, that RPG only runs at 30 frames, and they never patched it. But on the Pro, it ran at 60. And I'm basically like a beta tester, because I always had a Pro, but about 3 months after the game came out, it was patched to 60 frames. I mean, of course, it just appeared, and I'm like, wow. So, they didn't think they could. And again, we're talking about Falcom has like way less money, okay,
Yeah.
and they publish the game themselves in Japan, so it's not like they have much help. But I do think that if they were just able to focus on one SKU, they could have made my experience at 60 frame a lot more help, especially their action games like East.
Mhm.
Like, thank goodness on PC and on PlayStation, and I guess that's it. Has 60 frames at launch, but Switch is still running at this weird choppy mess. And I remember
Hey,
when
they
East
still got
first
that
came
ticker
out.
chip.
Hey, Switch is the Switch. If it runs, you just got to be grateful. That's kind of where we're at.
If it
With
runs,
Switch
be
right
grateful. That's the 2020.
Hey, they still got rumors of the
plus
Switch
24.
too, so
You can't.
Yeah, exactly, and that will be eventually addressed, at least for currently released games. So I have been detrimented in some ways with that. Um, but at the same time, I know like a lot of the smaller devs I support need Switch, especially in Japan, where they can get like 60,000 extra, software pieces sold.
Yeah, because in
Um,
Japan, that's the primary way
and,
people
and
play.
collector's editions. There's a lot of like collectors. They'll buy the $200 version of like a smaller game, and hey, the developer will live off of that for a little bit. So I get it, but I think it's a double-edged sword. It's nice that like some devs have broken out. Like I remember when From Software, every time they released a game, it had these weird frame pacing issues. Like they didn't have a lot of money either, but now we turn around and they're like genre defining, and then it's nice to see that they were able to take the leap and kind of make something like Armored Core 6 that really like made me smile so much to see them like come back to that game, because Armored Core 5 was great. I loved it because it had like co-op campaign. It had a lot of crazy good customization, but it didn't hit production wise like Armored Core 6. That's thanks to them getting the recognition they have now. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's tough. Like you want a developer to kind of stay small because they have a really strong focus on their community. But at the same time, it's nice when they get big because then maybe they inspire other devs to do the same thing. Like for example, I don't know if Neo would ever play like it does if Souls games didn't get so popular. But Neo is like my thing. Like Neo is it. So
Yeah, I know you're a big
um,
Neo fan.
yeah, like I don't think Neo 2. I mean, obviously, like we know that Neo was in development for a long time. It was a dream of theirs, but I think they started to tweak it when they realized that From had the sauce. So yeah, it's tough. But anyway, yeah, back to NCAA. Obviously, I'm also an EA hater for the most part. I usually stay away, but it is nice to see.
You're an EA hater
first-
when it's convenient, but y'all love Dead Space. Y'all love Dead Space. Y'all love
point.
Battlefield. Y'all love
Good point.
the Star Wars Fallen Order, and what's the new one that came out? Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, no, two of those. You're right. Battlefield all day. And even when they had Burnout for a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Before they killed them.
that's them.
Yeah, Burnout was there.
Burnout was there. And it's still in the EA access, so it's still like I still play it from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's nice to see fans happy. And seeing all the memes and everything was enjoyable. So I knew that there was going to be some big sales. And yeah, the fact that S is sold, I think I am still kind of surprised that S is sold as well as it did. I
Well,
would imagine an increase, but as well as it did in 2020, like November 2020 type sales, that's very interesting.
well, I heard specifically that the S was bundled with College Football 2025 in a lot of stores. So,
Smart.
because people just want to get in at the lowest barrier entry. I think Best Buy was doing those bundles. Maybe Best Buy and Target.
Last question: does EA have a subscription model that includes 25 NCAA 25 or College Football 25?
It includes the trial. So for the sports games, what they do is they don't put them in the service until the season's like basically over.
Yeah.
So like
Maximize profit.
So like College Football 25 will probably make it into EA Access probably in December. Probably around maybe January, but at the latest January, but probably December is when it'll make it in there, because that's when the college football season's over and you're in bowl season. So once you get to that point, they'll just throw it in their service. And the same thing for Madden. Madden is typically the week after the Super Bowl. It's in EA Access.
Okay.
That's how they do it. And like NBA 2K drops into Game Pass every year in March. March is April-ish. Like towards the end of their season too. So they all kind of do the same thing. They kind of wait until like the season's kind of over.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zero. How are you feeling about this migration to current gen hardware that's taking place as a result of College Football 2025? Oh, I think I already asked Zero that. Never mind. We'll skip Zero.
No, you didn't. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
talking the whole time. I was on mute. I like it. You know, our fellow panel member Jubei has long since said like it's time to leave the older sort of systems in the dust. And I say that as a person who has an Xbox Series S. But I don't mind the jump forward. I mean, we bought these brand new consoles to play new games on these new consoles that were designed for these new consoles.
Yeah.
I understand that COVID threw some things back, and I understand that you want to reach as, like Kofi said, you want to reach as many people as you can, particularly if you're a smaller studio. It makes all of that much easier. But the fact of the matter is, it's a new system, and we're in a new generation of systems, and we have not evolved to the point where theoretically these things are modular. So it's time for, you know, everybody to get on board with the Series X and the PS5 and the Switch 2, whatever that is. Yeah, man, let's move forward with them. And, or, you know, then make it so that, and I know it's tough, but in my perspective, make it so that the S is the secondary system. So you make all your games for the X and the PS5, and then if you want to drop down to the S, you do something with it. I know that's backwards logic from their perspective, and the more S owners you have, the more money you can get because it's an easier barrier to entry. But sometimes you just got to rip the Band-Aid off and say, we're doing this from here on out. And if you want to come with us, by all means, come with us. And history has proven time and time again that people are going to follow you to the next biggest and greatest system. So I think it's about time, almost halfway into, or a little over halfway into these systems life cycle, to sort of push people to where they want them to go. And where they want them to go, it seems to be, is these larger systems.
It's kind of tough though when you know, Fortnite and some of these free to play games that you can even run them on your cell phone just aren't making that move to force people to do it. So I mean, a lot of people are still playing. Some people are playing that thing on the old, you know, VCR Xbox One, you know, with the Kinect attachment on the back. You know,
And you know, for that.
I was gonna say, actually, the free to play though is a different market compared to like actual full price games. Though free to play, you want as many people as possible.
Yeah, but I'm saying like games like that are what's holding people back from getting next gen hardware because they can still run those games on damn near anything.
And I think that might be part of it. And some of that just needs to be like, you need to do your best to make some games that at least pull people away from Fortnites of that such. Not say be the next Fortnite, but you know, if Call of Duty can pull the Fortnite audience away even for a little bit, because you got to commit time to any of these games you want to play, then people will go to Call of Duty. If Concord is any good, people will go to Concord. You know, people went to Overwatch. People play Rainbow Six, and I know those are older games, but like they are certainly more resource intensive than Fortnite. So I think it's just a matter of figuring out and understanding that like you're not going to be this company, and that's always the big issue currently with like all of these companies. They keep chasing the dragon of Minecraft, of Fortnite, of all these other ones, and they gotta understand you won't be them. Those were lightnings in bottles that rarely will ever happen, and probably will rarely ever happen again.
And it's crazy because a lot of those games weren't trying to be Fortnite, or they weren't trying,
and they weren't even trying. And yes, like
you know, like Power World wasn't trying to be, you know, Power World. They were, you know, they were just trying to rip off Pokemon and hope they could make $1.
And they made a whole bunch more. So it's like, you know, we get it, guys. But focus on what you do best, and for a lot of them, is what you do best is make these quality level games that go on the newer systems, and we got to keep moving forward with that. Otherwise, we'll just always sort of be chained to these older systems, And I don't know. I don't know if the core audience, quote unquote, will follow or continue to support. I don't know the wisdom in if you're offering them both, but the premium paying customers get a quote unquote lesser product, then there's really no benefit to ever buying the premium version of that product. And
I don't
like
know.
you can get it for like the flex or the lulls. Like, you know, if you're telling me that Fortnite doesn't, if just using Fortnite as an example, Fortnite doesn't run any better between the S and the X, then I guess I don't really, and most other games that come out don't have much of a difference, then what's my incentive to buy the X, which is at least $200 to $300 more?
Well, I will say the PS for the first Ascendant. I don't know about mine. I don't know about Fortnite, but for the first Ascendant, there was a lot more on-screen assets on the PS5 and Series X version than on the Series S. Like, I think someone posted an image on the Series S. There was like a whole mountain missing.
But
Gotcha.
this game also runs
That-
on last gen. You can play this
Yeah,
on the
so-
Xbox One.
Yeah.
And then so I'm looking at like, all right, I can play this game on last gen. Do I have any of like, do the missing assets really add that much? If not, then we're talking about the sort of maybe 60 ray tracing, big, you know, graphic number things that people like to use. But if I don't really have the equipment to benefit from that fully, i.e. a better TV or a better monitor or any of this other type of stuff, or even setting up your TV and monitor properly to get the most out of this, then it still just becomes, I'm just buying the new thing to play the new thing.
Yeah.
And it just has to look pretty enough. You know, the capital G gamers can talk about, you know, frame rates and all of that other type of stuff, but just the regular gamers who like, I do want to play Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2 looks wonderful. There are very specific settings you can run to make Hellblade 2 look fantastic. But so long as Hellblade 2 looks wonderful, most people, I think, don't really care. It's a good looking game no matter how you slice it. Just one looks better than the other, but not better enough from like standard definition HD. It's just better. It's a little cleaner. The lights are a little shinier. The colors may be a little bit deeper, but nothing that I think I will be completely missing out in experience on if I don't get the full premium price version. And I don't know how you manage that as a company, trying to figure out like, how do we appease the people who want that big deal stuff, but really capture the people who want the lowest price to entry and everybody in between.
I'll say it's simple. If free-to-play games, you want to spread your game as far as possible because microtransactions are your lifeline. If
Yeah.
for full-fledged $70 games, yeah, give them that best experience.
That's what I would think, because most free-to-play games don't look that great to begin with.
They do that on purpose. Like, say for
Yeah.
instance, also like the whole mount thing with the Series S. I can say that the first Ascendant can get away with that because it's a PvE game. It's
Right.
not a game where you're going to be sniping another player from across the map. So
Yeah,
you
right.
don't need to see that field of view asset. You don't need to see anything past like maybe 60, 70 feet. It's no point.
Exactly.
Enemies are not going to be attacking you.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm. And Omar, how do you feel about there finally being a title that's causing a mass audience to move over to current generation hardware?
I'm actually happy that they're doing that. So the thing is for me is, why should this industry be the only industry that care about its previous consumers? What I mean by that is when mobile companies switch to a different phone, they don't wait to put their stuff on their old phone. Like, they focus on their new phone. So why should this industry still focus like on PS4? Like, the PS4 is so old. Let it die already. Like we as consumers, how long have we been waiting for Microsoft and PlayStation to just focus strictly on PlayStation 5 and Series X? What that was announced this year or something?
When's the last outside of ABK? When's the last time Microsoft did a cross-gen game? Was it Forza Horizon 5? Was that their last cross-gen game? That and Halo Infinite? I think after that
And
everything's been
PlayStation started the generation with cross-gen, which boggles my mind.
yeah.
Yes, they had one or two next gen, but I'm like, they should have prioritized next gen over cross gen. A game you said that Humber being not having a next gen experience would be God of War for me.
Yeah,
And Horizon.
that was previous gen. Horizon was previous gen.
And Horizon.
Miles Morales was
We
previous gen. But
we
they had
seen
Demon
we
Souls
seen what
Remake, Returnal, and Ratchet and Clank were the only early
seen
games that were next gen.
yeah. And on Xbox?
Xbox was cross gen until Halo Infinite, and then after that,
Yeah.
I think Pentiment may have been previous gen, but anything that was like AA and above, I think after that was next gen only after Forza Horizon 5. Because Halo Infinite
So
dropped first, right?
we are now what 5 years into this new quote unquote next gen?
Yeah, it's almost.
And
Seems like it's almost over. Sounds like from different.
No.
This
It's
reports.
like three. It's like 3.5. About
like
over
20,
3.5.
like 2020 is when it started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're.
So
But
it'll
the end
be
of
four.
it was the end of
It'll be
2020,
four.
right?
Right.
we're
So
close
Yeah.
to 4 years
November will
though.
be 4 years. No. November will be 4.
Okay,
It's not 4
we're
yet.
close. We're close to 4 years.
Right.
That's literally half of the cycle of a gen in
True.
general. Especially if the rumors are true that next gen is gonna start rolling in 2026.
Yeah. Yeah. Possibly. That's
Like, what's the point of owning a next gen system if you're not gonna have next gen hardware, software for it?
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, right now the tech industry is having a hard time upgrading like better like graphic and performance. We're kind of at the point where we're hitting the peak of performance. Like besides the whole breakthrough that Samsung did with the GDDR7 RAM that's supposed to show up in these newer technologies, we haven't gotten much else anything else. So next gen, I mean, besides the new RAM, what else can next gen really offer?
I mean, I still think there's a graphical leap to be made, but it's probably not for another generation or two before we really get.
I think it should be an FPS leap. I think we need an FPS leap more than so a graphics leap.
Yeah,
at least on the
that's
console.
what I'm saying as far as next gen experience, I think there is a graphical leap to be made, but I do think the next generation and a half is going to focus on stabilizing frame rates and creating a smoother user experience than an actual graphical leap. I don't think we're going to see a massive graphical leap probably for another generation or two. And I don't think there'll ever be a massive graphical leap. I think it'll just be subtle at this point, me personally.
We don't even need the massive graphical leap. Like we have close we're so close to photorealistic. You don't need that.
I mean, Hellblade 2 is damn near, that's pretty
Yeah,
much as
that's
photo realistic as you're gonna get with that Unreal 5 engine. So I mean, Unreal 5 is I've seen quite a few.
It's a
games.
beast.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few games. That body cam game.
Yeah, the body cam game.
That's Steam.
Oh
only.
my.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do not understand the horror requirements for that game.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that game put the 4090 on its knees. 4090 was chugging. Like it's beautiful, but y'all don't understand what it takes to run that.
Well, the 5090 is
So-
supposed to drop in 2025, so
Yeah, I mean,
Sit-
even
sit-
still, like
save your money.
like I said, the graphic leap at this point is more. I think it's more about stability.
I agree.
Because that's the only thing they can offer at this point, because graphical leaps not much, but then again they need to start putting more powerful chips inside these consoles to actually give you guys that stability
Well,
and give you guys 4K 60 consistently,
they will
at least
give
for
us,
the
they will give us stronger chips when they stop having to subsidize consoles. That and
look, you
as-
guys sell games, okay? Y'all, it's okay.
as long as they have to subsidize consoles, they're not gonna put the latest and greatest hardware in these consoles. It's
I'm
not gonna
saying
happen.
Steam has literally sold a Steam Deck at a loss, and they said that it became a profit because it made more people go into the Steam market. It just is what it is, man.
Hey,
You know what happens when you don't subsidize costs? You start making products that nobody buys because there's no goddamn games on it.
well, you went games angle. I was about to say Sony all the way on that one, because with their phones and cameras, them things are oof. Check them prices and some
Hey.
some of their headphones. Ooh.
Hey, their cameras are really good though.
Hey,
I don't
hey.
care what no one says.
Oh, but they're not subsidized, but they are amazing. But you're gonna pay that pretty penny.
I'll wait till Black Friday.
But let's get Jubei on this topic. He is the most aggressive in this panel about abandoning previous generation hardware. So how do you feel about a game you love, college football, forcing people to move over to current gen hardware?
As in the words of the great Childish Gambino, good. Please get the fuck off them old ass systems. I'm tired of saying it. I'm absolutely tired of saying it. Take your broke ass, go get your job, and get off these old ass systems.
God damn, so aggressive.
No, you
Nah,
have
but
to cut it
we
off.
Go up.
You
changed
have
though.
to cut it off.
I
I've been
literally just said.
over it.
Yeah,
This man said
I mean, literally this holiday season, you may actually get like $175 Series S, special.
I hope so.
That's
I hope
actually-
so. Not make it one.
that's actually a good deal.
You might get that. I'm just saying. With a Call of Duty bundle, so it might end up being like $225.
Yeah.
$240.
Call of Duty October, Black Friday November, Call of Duty bundle with the Series S. They already see that the college football can sell the Series S. Let's see if COD can sell the Series S.
So,
Get a free I don't know 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate with that.
But I need COD to go next gen only too.
yeah, I don't think that's
I-
happening until the next one.
You have
even-
to cut them off. You have to.
It's kind of weird though. I mean, they're still using the same engine, and I kind of understand why.
Let them play it on cloud. If they really want to play it, let them play it on cloud.
Well, I mean, the engine is based off like some of the asset. The reason why they can get away with it on the Series X, not Series S, on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 is because their engine is specially designed to have some of their assets on the cloud rather than on the console. That's the reason why they get
Oh.
away with it.
Juban, as far as you bringing up the cloud is not something that I guess is financially
Stable.
No.
Well, not financially
no, that-
profitable.
no. Yeah, I don't think it's something that Microsoft is financially interested in, because Black Ops 3 is not available on Game Pass via the cloud, because they have to purchase the cloud streaming rights from Ubisoft for Call of Duty.
I'm
Because of
not
that.
talking about. I feel you. I'm just saying I don't want a last gen version. I think it's dumb.
Hey,
I mean,
I hear you.
hey, they also share assets between Warzone Mobile and the Call of Duty franchise, which is the reason why they create the whole Call of Duty HQ hub.
Yeah.
It was put out terribly, but I do see their vision. They want to make it where everything can cross over to next Call of Duty games rather than you grinding all over again, all your weapons all over again, buying skins all over again. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of happy that they're allowing you to transfer your assets, and your assets can transfer over from your previous game to your new game play Call of Duty Warzone Mobile, I can play as A-Train, and then when I get back to Modern Warfare 2 and 3, I can play as A-Train again. People have Gundams. Like, I see what they're trying to do, and for that to be possible, they have to keep everything on the same engine. So
I think
as far as
I think
I
that's
don't
cool
know,
too.
they're not leaving the engine.
I agree, because if you keep everything in the same engine and you allow people to move skins and stuff over, then it kind of like it rewards your loyalty to Call of Duty, because maybe you'll end up having some skins that, you know, someone who just jumped into Call of Duty won't have. Like, you'll have a Gundam skin from 3 Call of Duties ago, and then the person that's just jumping into Call of Duty now doesn't have that skin. So, like, you know, you're the cool guy because you got the Call of Duty skin.
You got the Nicki Minaj skin.
Yeah.
It's transferable between
Yeah.
between Modern Warfare 2, 3, and Warzone Mobile.
So the people that didn't play, you know, those previous Call of Duties don't have access to, you know, certain specialty skins that you had because you were a loyal COD player for a decade or whatever. So I think that's kind of cool. So I think we kind of hit this topic on the head. It kind of bled into talking about a bunch of different other games and just the industry in general. But I thought it was good. We actually sat on this topic for a little under an hour. So a lot of good content there. So let me get this timestamp for this next topic.